That's all jacked up. There we go. There we go. Playing around with some adjustment stuff earlier, and I think you got adjusted too high. All right, what's up, everyone? My name is Dak. Welcome back to another episode of Dak Chats. We'll just start this one off by saying I'm very sorry we missed Sunday's episode. I actually had a little bit more going on than I expected, and I ended up being not mentally or emotionally, but literally a little bit overwhelmed with the way the day went out. So ended up just deciding, you know what, it's been a long month and a half almost covering Big Brother. Gonna take just an evening to wind down with the family. So I figured, with it being an HOH, obviously we try and make sure we cover each and every episode, but with it just being the HOH nomination episode, I figured we could probably go ahead and get away with that. So, but I did let you guys know on my Twitter account at Dak Chats that would be happening. So again, if you guys aren't already following me on Twitter, until I hit 500 subscribers, I can't really communicate in the community tab with you guys to keep you updated. So make sure to follow me on there for all channel updates. Anytime any adjustment to the stream does happen, anytime we need to reschedule or anything like that, if that were to happen, or any additional streams, we'll be posting those there, at least until we're able to access the community tab. So, which I'm sure we'll get there soon. So, but yeah, guys, it was Sunday's episode was really fun. I thought editing wise, I thought it was really a really fun episode. Really great episode. I loved watching just that fallout between Monty and Daniel, and Monty just being like, dude, I'm not playing into this. I told you to not do it, and you still did it. So don't be coming to me with that. All right. I'm not going to have this discussion with you. You put yourself in this position, and I warned you. And now you didn't listen to me. That's fine. But now you want to blame me for that. That's not on me. That's on you, because I told you that was going to happen, and he still ended up doing it anyway. So I really appreciate Monty just being like, you're not entitled to any information, because I warned you. I told you that was going to happen, and you didn't listen. So I am not entitled to tell you where those votes came from, who voted for you, and what ended up happening. I warned you, you didn't listen to me, so now it's on you. And I thought that was beautiful, watching that go down. And it was kind of a bummer. We didn't see that on the feeds, because that was before the competition started Thursday, and so we didn't actually get to see any of that. And full transparency, I haven't kept up with the feeds as much this week. I do normally kind of fade in and out just a tad bit as to how much time I dedicate to the feeds. I will say, completely honest, the majority of that has to do with the fact that this time of year does stir up fantasy football season, so I do start getting a little bit more prepared for that. But I'm always staying I'm always catching the morning updates, and I'm always catching each and every episode, and so we'll be here every night of the week that an episode is aired anyway, except for when we miss Sunday. So it does happen. But anyway, but yeah, so I haven't been staying quite as up to date as much as I'd like on the feed. So I might have missed some here or there. I didn't catch if that conversation actually, like if we were aware that actually occurred on the episode, or sorry, on the feeds, if that conversation had been portrayed anywhere. I wasn't aware, but yeah, we definitely enjoyed that. So, but anyway, we've talked about about Sunday's episode long enough. Let's jump on into tonight's. So when we first catch up, Monty talks about how he's nominated, and he's not happy that he's on the block, but he knows that the plan is to backdoor Daniel. And so he's not really too concerned. He doesn't want to be up there, but he's not too concerned because he knows that Daniel does need to go home. He said it's best for him and it's best for the house for Daniel to go. Daniel says that he's not feeling too great, kind of same exact position Nicole was in last week. He he knows that just because he's not up right now doesn't mean he's not the target. And in fact, he knows he's probably the target and that he's a good candidate for a backdoor. But he's not giving up. And, we talked a lot last Thursday about, or I mentioned a lot about how I wasn't really sure how the rest of this week was going to go with Daniel. I completely honest, I pegged him wrong a little bit. I did expect him to kind of just fade out a little bit, if I'm being honest, and just kind of throw in the towel, as much as I didn't want to see that. And from someone who is such a huge fan, I could kind of feel the mentality that he was in, comparing it to what we've seen in the past with other house guests that were in that same boat. And it did make me nervous that that's what we were going to get, but we didn't. And he has been fighting really hard, at least compared to other people that have been in that position before. But he says he's not done fighting, and he's ready for the veto, and he's desperately hoping he gets picked for the veto. And we even see him when the veto is drawn. He mentions he says I've never wanted to be drawn for a veto more in my life. So he is ready to go and he's ready to fight. And whether or not he gets the opportunity, we'll see coming up. But it's not looking too good for Daniel, and he can see the writing on the wall. We get to a conversation with Jasmine and Alyssa, and I didn't notice if anyone else is in there, but she mentions how she's not going to vote out Joseph or Terrence. And Alyssa agrees, and they say that Monty is a big target. If he's still up there on Thursday night, if those three are still the three that are nominated, they're not going to vote out the other two, and Monty's a big target, so they might go ahead and have to pull that trigger this week. Daniel is talking to Terrence, and he says that he knows that he could have gone up. He's not safe yet, and he still has a lot of fighting left to do, and he's still nervous because he knows what's going on. He just witnessed last week with Nicole, and again, he can see the writing on the wall. Terrence, he says he knows that Daniel is public enemy number one. That's no secret. The whole house knows it. We've even had in past seasons house guests that still couldn't quite pick up on some of the stuff, and Terrence is aware. It's so funny because Terrence, it's like he's choosing when to be smart and when to be aware of everything that's going on, because initially we'll catch him with he's pulling some of the stuff that he pulls later tonight, and then he's over here, he's got perfect reads on Nicole whenever she was telling him that, oh, you're going home. Sorry, I've already talked with everyone. I tried to fight, and he's got a perfect read on that. And I don't think that was just him being hopeful because he was biased in that situation. I think he really could tell that, she's feeding me a load of crock, and it's not, she's not accurate in what she's saying. But he's talking about it, and he says, look, I know that Daniel's on the outs, and I can use him as a weapon. And so he wants to try and find a way to do that, right? So he talks about how the best option, he tells Daniel the best option is that the best scenario is that you play and you win and you keep them the same, because then we can target Monty. And then Terrence tells us, he says, look, I know I'm in a group. My festy bestie group is Monty and Joseph, but we've been on a hot streak getting some of these bigger targets out. There's no reason we need to slow down now. And personally, it doesn't matter to me that they're my bestie. It really doesn't impact me at all. Or talking about Monty and Joseph, but he's like, Monty's a big target, and He was just HOH last week. He got a big target out. He's kind of the face of a lot of this that's going on. We should go ahead and try and get him out. So Daniel says that he talks to Terrence and he's like, look, I don't know if you would. I don't know if that's something you are okay with doing or feel comfortable doing, but and he says you could easily throw the veto and completely screw it up for him. And I think that's because the other two vetoes that we played with Festy Besties, 2 or 3, I think it's just the 2. The other 2 that we've already played with the Festy Besties those have all had been partner vetoes, right? So they're going into this thinking this is going to be a group. You play as a pair or as a team with your Festy Bestie or besties. And so he's like, you can just completely sabotage it, Didn't quite turn out that way, but that's what he was expecting, right? So he's like, if you're able to go into it, you're going to go into it. But, if me and Kyle are up there, if you're comfortable with it, you can tank that. And it won't even really be that noticeable. And Terrence even mentioned, he's like, look, I haven't been doing that great in these competitions, so I could easily throw this and it's not going to show anything at all, right? They're gonna buy into it. So Terrence is like, yeah, we can totally do it. I can throw it. No big deal. Daniel says, okay, because, if you're able to do that, then that just ups my chances to win the thing if I get picked. And so Daniel says he still has to fight for it. The whole thing with Terrence about throwing it, we're gonna touch back on that here in a minute. After we get to the competition itself, because there was something that confused me, and I'm hoping that you guys are able to help me out with that, because I must have missed something. Because, and we'll preview a little bit when they get to the competition. Did I miss something as to why he wanted to throw it at that point? Because it, to me, made absolutely no sense as to why at that point he would work so hard to get there and then still throw it. But because he wanted Michael to not use it. I must have missed something. You guys are going to have to let me know if I missed something, because we'll get there. But if you're watching this and you caught that, let me know. But anyway, so we come back and we get to a wild Jasmine hiding behind one of the sofas. And she's trying to see if she can scout out and look for the Muffin Man, because she thinks that she might just catch the Muffin Man eating a part of her muffin. And we didn't see that. No one ate her muffin. She didn't catch her Muffin Man. I did actually catch this on the feeds, because, again, the entire Muffin saga was over by Thursday. And I did watch this, and I had the camera on her for just a few minutes watching this, and was just completely bored of it. I don't know. Big Brother was right in Thursday's episode, or Sunday's episode. Muffingate did break the internet. I mean, they were not wrong. The entire internet was talking about Muffingate. They kind of piggybacked onto it. But everyone was talking about it. It was trending all over the place, and everyone's getting a great kick out of it. I personally could not care less. I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in that. I don't know. I just happen to find the entire thing annoying. I did find it. Okay. I did enjoy the segment on Sunday's episode. I did. I thought the segment itself was funny. I thought the way they played it out was funny, and it did work for me. And that's another thing when, missing Sunday's episode. We didn't talk about the fact that we actually got on the episode production responding in the diary room. That's like, I can't even remember. The only other time I remember that on a live, like not BBOTT, but actual Big Brother is, and I don't know if I'm making this up or if this actually happened, but I feel like in season 11, when Jeff kept butchering the name of the coup d'etat, and production finally had to be like, it's coup d'etat. And that's the only other time that I can remember, at least in the modern era. And we're talking like, when I talk modern era Big Brother, at least from like the way the standards of the game was set up, that we still kind of run off to this point, is like after season like 3 or 4, once the jury actually was the ones voting for the winner, and we still had the veto, or when the veto was introduced. So that's kind of what I mean by that. But during that whole time frame, that's the only time I can remember actually getting conversations in the DR from production, and I thought it was awesome, kind of fourth wall breaking. I love that aspect. So I did enjoy this segment Thursday, okay? I did. But having to listen to it daily, and even tonight's segment was just, yes, I enjoyed watching Turner be like, oh, I ate her muffin, and I enjoyed that on Thursday, and I didn't mind that. Like, that was the most enjoyable part of it tonight for me on tonight's episode. But overall, besides the way, again, I gotta give production credit, and I don't very often, but they did a great job with Sunday's episode, especially editing the muffin segment. I do think that was great. And I think that their talent in doing that and it actually looking good and being enjoyable for me is the only reason that I enjoyed Muffin Gate. So I enjoy it because of the way they did it. But every other aspect of this is just so annoying to me. And I know, I'm ranting. It's what I do. You'll learn that more and more as time goes on here. I rant a lot, but I was so annoyed by it. I couldn't stand it. Anyway, Terrence tells Jasmine that Turner ate her muffin. Now, I do, again, because this was before this week. So I watched the least amount of feeds this week, and kept up the least this week than any other week. But again, context from the feeds, what you don't see on the episode is that when she finds out that Turner was the Muffin Man, and I'm giving full credit to Taryn from RHAP, the way he explained it, because it was great. He basically said she was having fun with it, kind of like in middle school, whenever you're kind of just poking fun and almost kind of not flirting, but almost flirting with someone, and you got this kind of rivalry going on. And then as soon as she found out it was the smelly kid who picks his nose and who doesn't shower and all that stuff, that's the kid that you've been kind of suspiciously messing with this whole time. It kills it. And that's kind of how it was for Jasmine. Once she found out that it was Turner, she did not, because she was having a heck of a lot of fun. I mean, we could see her crawling around. She knows it's getting attention. She knows that, it's a thing, and she's having fun with it. And so, she's enjoying it. But as soon as she finds out it's Turner, she just does not care anymore. And it was kind of funny watching her just complete this thing that was made to torture her, and she found enjoyment out of it. Still ended up she just couldn't stand. So anyway, it was fun watching her just on the feed's perspective doing that. But the whole Muffin Kid on the episode, I don't care. But it did, and someone else pointed this out too. It did on Sunday's episode reintroduce hashtags on the episode airing, and I was like, you know what? I completely forgot that they haven't been doing that, but I enjoyed that a lot. It was so funny watching on eviction night, watching all of the live tweeting when they would post like the live viewers' tweets, and I swear they were just like streaming stuff that had hashtag BB24 and hashtag Big Brother, whatever season was, and only like made sure that they had a filter system to block out like stuff that would get them fined, because they would have stuff on there that would be like trashing production and hating on the show. And I'm like, I swear these tweets aren't even being vetted. But I miss that a lot. That was awesome watching that. I'm sure if they did try and do that, they would filter them a little better to make sure that they weren't getting hated on. But that was fun. So it did, at least it didn't reintroduce that again. But anyway, we get past all that. Brittany and Michael and Taylor are talking in the HOH room, and Brittany says that, listen, Daniel's a wild card. He's obviously our target, but we don't. Who are we going to go after once we get past Daniel? I mean, maybe we use our position that we're in right now to kind of figure out where to go from here. Taylor says, look, the big shot, it's obvious who the big shot is. It's Monty. Even if he's not the hardest player in the leftovers, excluding Michael, I do think Michael's the one going the hardest. I think below him, probably, from my perspective, is Joseph. I think below that would be Monty, as far as people in the leftovers that are really like pushing their agendas, working to make sure that they're getting what they want out of it. Because as great as Taylor's been, if she was really working to get what she wants and her goals and her plans and what she's wanting, if she was really working to get that pushed, she wouldn't have ended up on the block last week with Nicole. So as great as she's doing, and I do think she still is doing a good job, she's in a good position, she hasn't really been one of the ones reinforcing and pushing some of the decisions that's been going on in the alliance so far. So they're basically like, look, she says Monty is the biggest target. She says that I've been wanting to go after him since the beginning, and she kind of took a back seat to that. But at this point, she's like, if that is something we can do, then we might take the opportunity. They say that they don't want Monty to just ride their coattails till the end, because he's done a good job till now, and it wouldn't be a bad idea for him to kind of take a little bit of a seat back, kind of hide behind the alliance, let them take some of the bigger shots for him, not get as much blood in his hands, and then kind of pop back up a little bit later on. That could work out really well for him, and it could pay off. She says that she has wanted Daniel to go, but she kind of wants him to stay just one more week, so that way they could kind of get out a bigger target. And when you hear that, the biggest response to that is, well, if Daniel stays, then you're risking, if you get to the end, having one vote guaranteed lost. But I don't think that's the case, because someone else portrayed this, but it's a great point. If he gets to jury, he most certainly, he's already kind of figured out that it's kind of, he's digging himself in a worse position by continually trashing on her. But if he gets to jury, it's gonna get slipped to him that, listen, you're gonna have to chill. And what's even more reinforcing that is, by that point, other jury members will get there and be like, dude, you need to chill. Okay, they're not going to have anything to risk. They're not having a game to risk at that point by defending her. And there are several people in the leftovers that I do still, Joseph, obviously, if he got to jury, I still think that Monty at this point would be in that position. Turner for sure would be in that position to be like, you need to stop with that Taylor trashing crap, because you are making yourself look bad. None of what you're saying is true. You've completely made it up. So I think that there is a good argument that keeping Daniel until jury is good for Taylor, because that actually does kind of lock in a vote. It could lock in a vote for her if it goes that route. So I don't think that's a bad idea for her, and I don't think that's a bad move for her. Now, whether she is aware of all of that, I'm not sure. But, and that does affect whether or not it's a good move for her if she's not aware if it's a good move. But, I do think that it could really play out well for her from that perspective. Who knows how it could end up overall, but I do think that if that was what happened, it could have ended up good. Michael says that he's not sold that Daniel has to go this week. He says that he tells Kyle that, if you do get picked for the veto, I don't want you to have to throw it. I don't want you to have to show cards like that. So, you probably should try and win. Kyle says that he doesn't want to get Daniel out because he doesn't want to go up on the block. Now, I've heard it in some of the Big Brother groups. I've heard it on Facebook. I've heard it on Twitter that some people are like, well, Daniel kind of sounds, Kyle just sounds kind of whiny because he doesn't want to do his job and go up. We kind of got that from Xavier last season when he just did not want to go up against Alyssa because he didn't want Alyssa out. Okay. Now, these are two completely different situations. The thing with Xavier was, yeah, he didn't want to go up, period. But he didn't want to go up because he didn't want his backup plan, his parachute, to go out. That was his best friend. He did not want to lose her. So he just did that because he wanted to keep his buddy in as long as he could, right? Kyle does not care if Daniel leaves. He just doesn't want to go up. So I get where it's like, oh, Kyle just sounds whiny because he doesn't want to take his turn. But honestly, no, this is the best move. Now, with the bestie festy twist, it does kind of complicate this a little bit, but do you want to stay off the block as much as possible? I 100% agree with Derek's perspective of, look, if you can't be like the best player is the one that didn't go up, right? And there's only so few people that can really have that on their resume, right? Especially winners. So, there is, and even he says, he was on the block. He was never nominated, but he was never on the block. Because I remember when last season him and Cody were talking about this on their podcast. He said, for you, I put you above me, or at least that's what I think he said. But he was basically like, in that instance, you're a step above me because you were never on the block. Both times Cody made the decision. And so I agree with that. And there's other things too, but I agree with that perspective of you want to stay away from the block as much as you possibly can. And you do, especially with twists like this specific one, you have to be careful how you go about it, because when this whole twist is built on you going up with your partner and your alliance is built around that, then you kind of have to give a little bit more than you normally would in most seasons. And that is a factor. But overall, he's not wrong in trying to stay off the block. He does sound a little whiny about it, but he's not wrong in trying to stay off the block at all costs. And he also makes a good point. He's like, look, me and Alyssa are very clearly a showmance. We're not hiding from anyone, right? Or, I mean, they're not, everyone can see it, right? They're not fooling anyone. So that's putting an even bigger target on his back that they could decide, there's not a lot of people saying it at the moment, but they could easily be like, Kyle's up and he is a threat, and he's also with Alyssa, so we might just take him out. So yeah, that added to that. Michael says that it might be time to flip on the alliance and get Monty out. Now, does he do that? Who knows? So we come back from the break and we get a nice segment about Taylor and the love of her life. And Joseph says, she looks really good after just waking up. And Taylor made respond to that. I can't remember what she said. But then she talks about how, coming into the house, she never expected that she would get into a showmance. But it turns out she has a really big crush, and she's in love. This is the second time we've gotten this out of one of the women in the house. Alyssa said she's just a girl in love, and Taylor is too. She's in love with potato chips, and and she loves him. She takes him everywhere. It doesn't matter. It could be just casual, just chilling. It could be she's going up and getting confronted about how she's destroying people's lives, and preying on them emotionally and manipulating people. It doesn't matter. She's gonna have her life partner with her right there by her side. This is another one. I honestly, it was great. I fed in. I loved the Lay stuff in the like when they first kind of screwed with it, in juxtaposition with Daniel, when initially when she's because it was very natural. He was coming at her, and he's like, just stop, and she's like, with the Lays, what are you talking? And that was very natural. So them having a little bit of fun with that afterwards is fine. But again, they beat these things like a dead horse. And the Muffin Gate again was fine. They edited that really well. They made it really enjoyable in Sunday's episode. But this was naturally pretty good. But this is after tonight. I'm done. I'm done. And I keep seeing people talking about Taylor's going to get a sponsor, or she needs to get a sponsorship from Lay's. Lay's does not care about Big Brother. They don't. It's Big Brother is not enough of a household name. Does not have the viewership for them to she's not going to get sponsored by Lay's. The show's not going to get sponsored by Lay's. And even tonight, they're still avoiding the name brand. She just goes with potato chips. That's what she refers to them as, and that's for, copyright issues, whatever, but trademark, whatever. But still, that's let's leave it. Let's let it be. It's done. Anyway, so. And yeah, and I also put in my notes, I said production definitely gifted this. There's no way that this segment did not come from them saying, hey, people are loving the Lays. Let's push this a little bit. Now, again, I am in the camp. All the people that think Big Brother's rigged, that it's fixed. I'm not, I don't give production a lot of credit, but I do not think that this game is rigged. It's not, okay? There's stuff proven, and I have an example in the very next topic of why it's not rigged. But I do think that they definitely feed them stuff in the DR. They know what's going to get good views and get the clicks that they're wanting. So they do kind of play around with them a little bit in that aspect. I don't know. Am I just being like a I don't know, Debbie Downer? Does everyone else love the Muffin Gate and the Lay's Gate? It's all food. It's all food related. That's all the gates that we have this season. Leftovers. There's, maybe I'm just being Debbie Downer. Let me know if you guys are having fun with it. Let me know in the chat, or if you're watching this after the fact, let me know in the comments down below. And real quick, remind everyone, if you guys enjoying this video, make sure to hit that like button. And if you haven't already and you're enjoying the stream and you want to come back, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're gonna have a lot of fun tomorrow too. But anyway, yeah, maybe I'm just being a downer. I don't know. Okay, so we get to the veto draw, and obviously we know that it's going to be Michael and Brittany, Monty, Joseph, and Terrence. So except for, and you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember which season, when the veto was first introduced in the early season, like season 3, they allowed for every player in the house to play for it. It wasn't until like 2 or 3 seasons later where they capped it at 6. But this is one of the first times, I think, since they capped it at 6, that we've had more than 6 people playing in it. I could be totally wrong, so if I am, remind me, because I don't remember. But That's still, I don't remember that. So that's a little interesting. I wonder how soon. Well, no, they already had it. So yeah, there was 3 people on the box, so they already knew there was going to be 7. But yeah, so we get obviously Michael, Brittany, Monty, Joseph, Terrence, and this is what I was about to say earlier, right? This is the reason why this show is not fixed, because if this show was fixed, if this was scripted, if they wanted this to go in a certain direction, you would have seen Daniel and Kyle get drawn for this veto, and that didn't happen. Just watching, even if they didn't win, watching them fight for it would have shown you that. The fact that they didn't get drawn is not... It's just evidence that, yes, this show can be influenced by production from time to time, but it is not fixed. And this show plays out organic. Now, whether some of the segments and some of the DR sessions are organic, the DR sessions themselves are not organic, but the game itself definitely is, because this is not what a lot of people wanted to see happen, but it is what happened. So they all get picked for veto. They're reminded, it doesn't matter who wins. Every single person in your group basically has to decide to not use the veto in order for it to not get used. So kind of opposite of what you would expect in most instances to get something to happen. If it requires everyone to agree to use it, but this is opposite of that. It requires everyone to agree to not use it for it to not get used. So we get to the veto, and it is Otev. It's a little early for Otev, but I personally, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I know some people were kind of annoyed that they feel like it. And I do get, at least, I get especially for the players themselves, to get them, especially someone like Daniel, where it's like he's already going out. He at least wants to get to that point where I'm sure he's glad he got to Otev, but it also marks something for the players where once you get to Otev, you're already in jury most often than not. So it kind of has that definitive line drawn. So for the players I get, but for me personally, I don't care. But it's Otev, and guys, this is right up my alley. I love Westerns. I love Western stuff. I'm from, I've said before, I'm from Oklahoma. I love Western stuff, and the Western theme I loved. I used to say that I'm a good cook. I'm not like the best cook. I don't cook very often. I enjoy what I eat most often than not. So I will put it, I'm not the greatest cook, but I am the sauce master. Okay. Whether you need a hot sauce, salsa, have a great sauce recipe. Everyone knows me for my ranch. If you know anything about me, I'm a ranchaholic. I eat ranch with literally everything. Yes, that's a Southern thing. It's an Oklahoma thing, but I love it. And so obviously, being the sauce boss, I make the best ranch, and no joke, everyone around me knows I make a killer ranch. Also make a great cilantro ranch. I make a really good, I make a good barbecue sauce. It's not from scratch. I do incorporate a lot of other stuff. But anyway, you get the point, right? Oh, I also just came up with, within the last couple months, a really good honey buffalo. Oh, great. Anyway, you get the point, right? I love sauce. So this being Otev, being a Western Otev that has to do with different sauces, I loved. I saw this, I was like, that is perfect. I'm gonna enjoy the heck out of this. So we get to it, and I don't really care. I'm not gonna go through a lot of the details except for one of the competition. I just kind of started writing out who went out first. So first person we saw out was Brittany. Then we saw Jasmine. Now, I wasn't paying close enough attention. I didn't hear whenever they said that the goal was to find the name of the competition that you played in, because they've done them before. They switched it around other seasons. They've done that. Other seasons they've also done name a player. So they said something about poo in the first question, and I automatically assumed pooch, and I wasn't even thinking about the rest of it. So I after they got that, I was like, oh, okay, so it's the name of the competitions, right? So it's Pooh Fest was the first one. The second one was, what was the name of that competition? Was it Mermaid Bowling? Like mermaid, like what was the name of it? It wasn't just Mermaid. They didn't have a competition named Mermaid, but the second one was just Mermaid Mayo. But they literally, Otev literally said Mermaid when he was singing the song. So he straight up gave them the legitimate actual answer in his question. And like, not part of it, the entire answer. I mean, okay, mayo was not a part of it, but still, like, that's mayo is not the point, right? It doesn't matter if it's mayo or if it's Pooh Fest ketchup or whatever it is. It's whatever. Why did they just put mermaid? It didn't make sense. It was, they gave them the answer, and that's why I'm most frustrated, because it gave them not just one of the words that was in it, but the word. The only word that described the answer was in the question, and I don't know, that just annoyed me, but whatever. Anyway, so we go from that, we go to Terrence, Joseph, and Monty. They're all out. And then we get down to the final two, which is Michael and Terrence. And again, we talked about this earlier. So Terrence says, look, I need you to win this. I'm going to throw it. I need you to win it, and I'll tell you why later. Michael says, okay, sounds good. Why? He ends. So we get the result. Michael wins, and Michael tells him, he's like, I'm going to fight as hard as I can. He wins. And then Terrence is like, now I'm going to go up to Michael and tell him, I need you to not use this veto. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. The whole thing. I mean, whatever. But anyway, he's ridiculous. So anyway, Michael wins, and we hear him say that, yeah, it was my fourth HOA, or my fourth veto win, and it's his fifth win overall, and he's like, now I should probably calm the heck down. No kidding, buddy. I know that you want to beat the record, okay? One of his favorite players is Janelle. He looks up to her, and he wants to shout at the record. And I'm right there with him. I grew up watching Janelle. I would love to be the one to shatter her record. It not in a ha-ha type of way, but when athletes get into their leagues, they want to shatter their heroes' records, to be like, look, I aspired to be you, and I went above and beyond you. And it's kind of like a reflection of your hero, as opposed to, fighting him. But again, also too, everyone wants to play an OTEV, and everyone wants to win OTEV. So I get it, but he didn't need to. He had multiple options that he could have gone with, and he wasn't decided yet. So there was no point, in my opinion, for him to have to go ahead and do that. But he does. He wins. So we come back, and Terrence starts talking. Him and Daniel are in one of the bedrooms. He tells Jasmine, he's like, look, Jasmine, I need to talk to you. And she's like, oh crap, something bad happened. And he's like, no. He says that he needs to start putting it in people's heads that they need to keep Daniel. Jasmine starts talking about how, you know what, she says she kind of wants to send Monty home. And she says that, Michael has a golden opportunity to get out a huge threat in this game. And, she thinks that he should take it. Right. And she talks about this to Indy and Alyssa. So Terrence goes up to Brittany and Michael, and he says that, look, you guys, you need to lead Nom same. We need to take Monty out. He's a huge threat. We're not going to have this opportunity again. And, if you get this is too big. He's too big of a threat. And I don't know that we're going to get this opportunity again. Like, this is a golden opportunity. I don't know if we're going to get the shot again to take him out. So he has that discussion. Jasmine goes up, talks to Michael and Brittany. Talks to Michael, tells him the same thing. Indy goes up, tells Michael the same thing. Alyssa goes up, tells Michael the same thing. Daniel goes up, tells him the same thing. Michael says, look, I know, like, I was going into this week wanting to make a big move, okay? I really did. But I'm going to be honest, I'm feeling a little sketched out because I'm starting to realize that all these people, they're all coming up to me within hours of each other. And it's kind of obvious they have an agenda. It's kind of obvious they've already kind of worked this out and they're trying to accomplish something. And I am not going to do anyone else's dirty work. That's just not what I'm going to do. So they basically, any chance that he had of going with what they wanted, they completely talked him out of it. And what was funny was Jasmine was one of the first ones to go up there, and she went up there to talk to him. And on the feeds, we see her come back down and start talking to the rest of her group and says, guys, I did it. I convinced Michael to leave Dom the same and get Monty out. I convinced him to do it. He's going to do it now. Oh, gosh, I can't wait, right? And it was a really funny thing because, and we get the flip side of that. From the episode perspective, we actually get Terrence's viewpoint on that, and we'll come back to that. But it was really funny watching. So he starts talking to Turner and starts telling Turner that all these people came to him, they all want Monty out. He says that the entire house, none of them know what's going on. They all think they know. They all have, they all want to feel like they're in the know, but they don't actually know. Terrence, we get a shot at Terrence and Daniel, and him and Daniel are just cracking up. And Daniel's got that that laugh of his that I have. There's like two people that I know that look just like the dude, and it's driving me crazy because I see their smile whenever he does that big smile. But Terrence is like, I'm not letting this dude go nowhere. He's talking about Danny. He's like, I'm not letting him go anywhere. He says that he's killing it, and that he set out to do something. He set out to accomplish something, and look at him. He's here. He's doing it. He's actually making this happen. He wanted to make this move happen, and look, he's making it happen. And Daniel, he says that, look, a couple of days ago, I said the season was over, end it. This is trash. It's over. There's no hope. And now, he says, now life has been breathed into this game. Meanwhile, we see Michael in the HOH room telling Monty everything that these guys had just all tried to tell him to do and get him to do and convince him to do. So it's really funny. We see after that, we come back and it's time for the veto ceremony. And the veto's used, and you can see that Daniel, when the veto's used, you can see it in his face. He's like, it's time. It's time for me. I'm going up. And Michael puts up Daniel and Kyle. And Michael's speech is just beautiful. He had talked about it on the feeds. He said that is something I did catch for sure. He said that he was going to do this. He was going to quote it in terms of, my favorite Elvis impersonator once said that I got to go with what the house wants, and basically you're what the house wants, and you've been rubbing some people the wrong way, and I hope, Daniel, that you take this opportunity to figure out what you did wrong and apologize for it. And it was beautiful. If any of you happen to miss the reference, he is referencing the exact same thing that Daniel himself said to Taylor when renomming her in week 1. And it was absolutely beautiful watching that. And better reaction than I expected from Daniel. He didn't get as upset as I was hoping. I was hoping he was going to get really annoyed and angry, but he didn't. So that's whatever. But yeah. So From there we see Daniel. He says that he thought Michael was a big enough super fan to know that the smart move was to use him, Daniel, as a shield and take out a bigger threat. Okay, listen. I hope that Daniel going into this season understood that the smart move for Michael was for Michael to do whatever was best for Michael's game. Daniel doesn't know. Like, he's saying this in a defensive position because he's like, he's stuck. He wants to stay. He doesn't want to get voted out. So he's just saying whatever. And he's trying to convince himself of the BS so hopefully he can be convincing to other people. But dude, if a super fan knows that it does not matter it does not matter what you think someone's best move is. They have to know. Now, granted, some people don't know what their best move is. Okay? Some people make very stupid moves, not realizing that it's a bad move and that literally the other half of the 50-50% or the other half of that coin, the other decision they could have made was a better move. That's true, right? But overall, Michael knows what his best move is. He's not an idiot. So until you get out of the house and you can see what was actually happening, you can't say that. Now, if he got out of the house and he was making stupid moves like people we've seen before that were counterproductive to his game, then yeah, for sure, you can say that. But you don't know what's going on. You can't, I mean, I guess if you can assume the other, you can assume that, but it's annoying and idiotic to hear. So whatever. Anyway, but yeah, that's our episode tonight, guys. I'll take the last few minutes. If you guys have any other questions before we end the stream, make sure to put it in the live chat. Any comments, questions, or anything you want me to read, let me know in that live chat before we wrap up here. But we are going to start reviewing our live chat real quick and checking in with everyone. Let's just check something real quick. Also, too, I did. If Tom, if you see this, TV Talks Tom, I am stealing this from him because it was a great idea on some of his stuff. So hope you don't mind. But if you guys do happen to follow me on Twitter at DakChats, like I have mentioned before, because like I said earlier tonight, until I hit that 500 subscriber mark, I can't communicate with you guys in the community tab. So any one of you guys that follow me on Twitter at DakChats, that's where you'll get all the channel updates. And if you follow me right now here in the next, we'll say it's 9:08. So between now and 9:15, if you guys follow me there, then I'll give you a shout out on the stream. So make sure to follow me at DakChats on Twitter. All right. Maureen. Hi, Maureen. Thanks for stopping by. Maureen says, I would have liked to see Jasmine on the block, but not Turner. Yeah, again, it's these twists really shoehorn this type of stuff into them, and we don't really get the option for that. I mean, most twists are not this OP in a very, very negative way, in my opinion. I feel like it's very negative. But most twists are not this overwhelming. But yeah, we just don't get that option right now, and that's really annoying. That's the best way I could put it. It's very annoying that we're not getting that. Mona Walters. I am late. Hi everyone. Hi Mona. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for making it. Happy to have you here. No matter what time you get here, you can hop in and you can join live. You can rewind all the way back to the beginning, or you can just pick up from here and then go back and watch what you missed at a later time. However you want to do it. We're just glad that you're here. Mona says you like it, but it's not organic. You like it if let me start over. Mona says I like if it's organic, not if it's scripted or prompted. And I think that's referring to kind of the muffin segments and the what was it? The lay segments. Yeah, and that's the thing for me is none of the muffin stuff was prompted. All of it was organic. That was something that Turner just started doing. I personally didn't care for it. that was just my take. I know I'm probably kind of a grumpy cat about that, with that type of stuff, but it just didn't work for me. The lay stuff also too was organic, but whatever we saw tonight in reference to that was not. That was definitely not organic, in the least. So yeah. Marine says everyone wants to be in a showmance with Joseph. Yeah. Pooch, it don't matter what Pooch says. There was something going on between him and Joseph. Now it did seem like it was primarily coming from Pooch, so I don't believe I'm not gonna believe Pooch saying that he didn't have any interest in that dynamic. If Joseph did, I still don't know that I believe it, but I'd be more inclined to believe it just because of his attitude and his behavior. Because he did kind of mention a few times, he was like, "Dude, Pooch I can't get rid of Pooch. He won't leave me alone." So, if I'd be more inclined to believe Joseph, but I still don't know that I believe him in that regard. But yeah, everyone wants to be with Joseph. And from the episode, when we get these DRs, they are supposed to be like the real outliner for what the house guests are actually thinking when they're making the move. So it's supposed to give us a better perspective of what these house guests are thinking. But the way that these DRs have kind of become almost serialized, in a sense that it's really kind of only there to hype up something that they want you to see, as opposed to actually reflecting some of the house guests' real thoughts and viewpoints on some stuff. We tend to end up getting a little bit better of an understanding just from watching the feeds themselves, because they will talk to the feeds. Not all of them. They don't all talk to the feeds. They don't all talk to the cameras, but a lot of them do, and they do kind of give us their overall breakdown. And it's more real, it's more detailed, and it's more honest than what we get from the DR edit. So yeah. Mona says, if you use Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning packet in your ranch, I'm going to be disappointed. I do. But here's the thing. I don't use the regular. See, I used to, when I was a novice, I started out using the regular. I just take regular old 2% milk. Couldn't do whole milk. Gave it too much of a weird taste, but I take 2% milk, and I mix it with mayo, and I mix it with the Hidden Valley dressing packet. Anyone that's just joining probably has no idea of what's going on, but anyway, I did start out that way, and then a couple years ago, again, I've been a lifelong ranchaholic from infancy. My mom has a picture of me at like 6 months old with my jar and jar of ranch, my fist in a jar of ranch. That take what you will with that, but anyway, I moved on about 2 years ago to just putting the buttermilk packet with actual buttermilk. Oh, it's a game changer. And listen, I get 100% being like, that's cheating. It is, but I have asked every single restaurant that I've gone to that's had good quality ranch, what is your recipe? And they all tell me that it all starts out with, it's just 3 ingredients: mayo, buttermilk, and a packet of seasoning. Now, the seasoning differs, so if there's a better seasoning out there that people want to recommend, I will try it out. I'm down. I want to try it, but yes, I do. And then Mona also encourages everyone to hit the like and share the live. Yeah, for sure, guys. Thank you for reminding everyone of that, Mona. It does definitely help, kind of drum these up better and help the viewership. It helps me. I've said before, my goal with all of this is be able to do this full time and be able to give you guys more content to enjoy and more interactiveness. And so that's just going to come with more subscribers and more views. So, if you guys are enjoying this, by all means share and definitely like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're having fun being part of this community and you're enjoying what we're doing here, then definitely hit that subscribe button and let us know. Comment on the lives, comment on the chat. We love having the interactiveness and having you guys here. So thank you again, Mona, for that. And Mona, if you don't have a Twitter, make one and follow me on it and message me, and we'll talk about that mod status. Marine says, I started following you on Twitter a week ago. Yes, Marine did. I noticed that. I did notice that, Marine. And I will go ahead and shout Marine out. Marine Carroll, at Marine6291. She followed me, like I said, about a week ago. So go follow her if you haven't already. Yes, DRs get, yeah, it's just the DRs. Mona says, DRs get on my nerves, so fake. Yeah, most of the time. I mean, there are some, but I wish we could, I wish they could find a way to kind of, because I get what they're doing with it, and they do have to use, they do kind of use it as, yeah, they kind of have to use it as a narrative tool to kind of tell their narrative and their story, but yeah, I wish that they would find a way to make them more organic than what they are, because they're definitely not organic right now. But yeah, I agree 100%, Mona. All right, well, I'll take one more look here. And all right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up tonight, guys. So tomorrow is going to be a fun one because tomorrow is obviously eviction night. We have the wall comp. So the way the wall comp has gone in years past is, for years they say, okay, wall comp's going to be in the feeds, so go hop on the feeds. If you haven't already, subscribe to the live feeds, and then come back and watch the wall comp, and because we're going to have it on there, right? Normally they actually say that a week in advance, and they didn't. They didn't tell us anything last week, which they normally do. They usually try and do that to drum up more business for Paramount Plus. So they didn't. So I'm wondering if they're just kind of like, if they're just like, oh, hey, by the way, this is happening, or if they're like, oh crap, we need to catch up and start kind of marketing it so we can get those numbers up. Or if CBS kind of just tapped their shoulders like, hey, you need to push this. You need to push this so we can. That's always a good way to get our numbers up. But the thing with it is, so many times by the time it hits the feeds, and sometimes it's like within 10 minutes, but sometimes it's not till like 20 or 30 minutes. And depending on what time they do it, sometimes the competition, like what was it, last year or the year before, they promised it to us, and then the competition was over before the feeds even hit. Now, maybe that's another reason why they haven't been marketing as much. I don't know, but I really am, what I'm hoping is that within 10 minutes of the episode cutting, and I mean, I think one time it was even like less than 10, it was like 5 minutes, but I'm really hoping that, as soon as the episode cuts, I mean, I'll take it before it even finishes cutting, but I'm hoping that as soon as it, the episode cuts, that we're able to get the wall comp started. So with that being said, we will have the competition playing while we're doing the live stream. So, and I'll remind you guys tomorrow whenever we start, but I will be updating as that stream goes on. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled with that, be careful. Most people don't care about the HOH spoiler because we often get that on Thursday's episode. We often do get that on Thursday's episode, but in case that's something that might bug you guys, just be aware of that. And then I think that's all we got for tonight. So again, thanks for stopping by one more time. If you enjoyed the stream, you enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button. If you're enjoying being part of this community and you haven't joined the stream yet, if you're watching this after the fact, we go live anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes after the episode airs. On the what is it? West Coast. Is it the West Coast? I always mix up. I'm Central Time, so I always mix up the airing. It's tonight was 7 o'clock my time, so 6 o'clock their time. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Anyway, lose my train of thought. 15 to 30 minutes after the episode finishes airing, big brother time, whatever that is, and then we will go from there. So if you haven't caught it live yet, come on by. We have a lot of fun. And Thursday nights are always a lot of fun because we get to recap the whole week and prospect what's coming in the future. And we will, depending on how long the competition runs, we might stream till the end. They usually don't, and the only reason I'm saying that is because they usually don't last very long. The amount of time we will probably finish the competition will probably finish before we would finish the stream anyway. So it shouldn't be too late doing that. But who knows? If we get going too long and they're still going, then we might not. But that's the goal, depending on how it ends up playing out. Because it's all out of our control anyway. So, but yeah, guys, yeah, if you're enjoying it, make sure that hit that subscribe button and come on by for one of our live streams. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun here, as you can tell. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for tonight. I'm super excited to see you guys again tomorrow. We're going to have a lot of fun. And until then, everyone have a good night and get ready for, I guess it's not a blindside butterbeans, but get ready to witness Elvis leave the building, because tomorrow night we'll be able to say Elvis has left the building.